Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Kara at the People's Harm Reduction Alliance and the co-founder of Harm Reduction Doula Collective. And we're going to talk about some things that might come up when you bring a baby home. So let's start with some common thoughts that might come up. We really want to normalize these things. This is not just for people who use drugs, but this can be a thought that comes up for literally any parent who is bringing home a newborn or a young child that is coming back into their custody. So there can be a lot of feelings of excitement, of celebration. There can be a lot of feelings of fear and isolation. There can be feelings of grief and anxiety. Like, this is a huge life transition. This is a huge identity shift. This is a huge shift in your routines, in your world. And especially if you were not given the opportunity to care for your baby, like right out the gate, it can feel like, what am I doing? Or am I equipped to do this? Does this baby have a bond with me? Am I bonding with this baby effectively? Like, it can sometimes feel like, am I doing this right? I'm feeling really disconnected from my baby right now. Or if you have a partner, or if you have other children or other people in your family that you are really close to, and you're introducing a new human to the situation, it might feel like your other relationships are feeling really disconnected or strained or stressed out. You might feel guilty that you want to be giving people in your life more, or you wanted to give your baby more, you want to give yourself more, but you're not feeling like you currently have that capacity. Sometimes you question, like, do I love this baby and does this baby love me? You know, this doesn't mean that you don't love your baby or that your baby doesn't love you. It's just sometimes when you're really tired or you're going through a big transition or things are really hard, we shut down our capacity to feel certain emotions in order to feel safe or to move through them. And it's okay to feel like a little bit of confusion, or like your instincts aren't trustworthy. It's okay to feel that way, but I really, really want to stress, and I can't stress enough, that like surrounding yourself with those support people and those people that are going to stand in front of you and mirror back to you your worth and like everything that you're doing right, and regrounding you in who you are and your identity, even if that identity is in flux and you're trying to figure out who this new version of yourself is. You're meeting a new version of yourself, and you're meeting a new baby, you're meeting a new human, you're meeting a new relationship dynamic amongst all the other people in your life, and that can feel really scary and really destabilizing. And it can also feel really exciting and really full of love and really full of joy and celebration, all at the same time. People experience these different feelings sometimes in like peaks and valleys, ups and downs, and sometimes it's all at once, and sometimes it's really more one for a prolonged period of time, and then other times it's more the other, and it looks different for different people. It's okay to think this is harder than I thought, especially if you are going through your process with CPS, with the family surveillance state. They can require a lot of you. Even if you are not, these adjustments can feel really, really difficult at first, and they can ebb and flow. So babies develop in spurts, and you might feel like you've gotten one phase like down. Like, you know what they need, you're like vibing, you're in a rhythm, and then boom, like all of a sudden, they experience a change. Sometimes you'll hear people call it like a regression or a sleep regression, or there's a bunch of different things that people might refer to it. I mean, you're like, wait, hold on, like they were just sleeping like through the night, or they were just we're only getting up at this time, and now they're like not on that schedule anymore, or they're not liking this food, or they're not they don't like being held in this way. Whatever the case may be, like their changing like the little growing humans that they are, just like you are changing. And so it doesn't mean that you're not doing something right. It means that they're doing something right. They're growing, they're changing, and they're evolving, and we don't stay the same, and our routines don't stay the same. And that change can be really challenging. Sometimes you may feel shame, or you may feel a lack of community support, or a fear that because you're experiencing these feelings that your baby may be taken away from you. And sometimes that threat is very real and very possible. And it's hard not to let those feelings become consuming. That does not mean that you do not deserve support. And I hope that through taking the time to watch these videos, hopefully attend some in-person workshops, or access a community doula, that you find people that you trust to tell these feelings to process all of this with. Because even not being in your experience and in your shoes, parenting and postpartum and bringing a child home is a lot of change and is really hard. And when you have been marginalized and sometimes criminalized for the ways that you have survived in the past, that fear can be very present, that this thing that this chapter could be ripped away from you without your consent. And having people around you prevents some of those like worst case scenarios from happening in isolation. Sometimes it prevents them from happening altogether, because you have the strength and support of multiple people holding it together, and you don't have to carry it alone. Sometimes you get tired. Well, one, you just get tired, but two, you might just get tired of like the constant like feedback and appointments, or like the routine fatigue. Sometimes you might just want your body back and feel like having this little person be so dependent on you. You might feel like, I just need to not be touched right now, or I don't want to be touched by my partner or by other humans. I'm like, my noise, my sensory overload is like at an all-time high, and I just need a break. Again, like that's when it's really important that we just call in our people when we take that break, when we make sure that baby's in a safe spot, we put baby, in a crib, or we, take a break and rest while they are sleeping. We ask ourselves, are my basic needs being met? Have I eaten? Have I slept? Have I showered? Do I have support from the people around me? Is there somebody that I can call and talk to? The other thing that we might think is like, how am I going to afford all of this? Where am I going to go? How am I going to carry all of this? So it's very common to kind of have this infant put a lot of things in perspective and trigger a lot of insecurity, especially around housing, around finances, around routines, appointments, relationships. I hope that through like listening and processing and learning, that again, we name those support people, we have a pregnancy and postpartum plan that helps establish some steps so that we are taking things 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. It can feel like there's so much to do. It can feel like, can I handle all this? Am I ever going to get to the end of it? There's like a constant to-do list. And the key is to just break it down into minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. Is baby fed? Is baby changed? Is baby getting enough sleep? Am I getting all of my basic needs met? Can I make 1 appointment today? Can I do the things that are being asked of me? And do I have people to help me do them? You may be an absolute badass. I think you're a badass. Any parent is a badass. And at the same time, we can't hold it all and we can't do it all. And so pacing ourselves is a way that we can keep going over a long period of time. Okay, so a little bit more of the nuts and bolts. If you're taking baby home from the hospital, you've likely already had your FTDM, and they've cleared you to come home. They might have a lot of requirements for you. But the first requirement when leaving the hospital is they're going to tell you about your newborn care plan. They're going to make you do what's called a car seat test. So I should have already talked about this in my earlier videos, but making sure that you have a car seat or that somebody can bring you a car seat to the hospital so that you have a car seat to transfer baby home in is super important. Knowing how to adjust that to make sure that baby is in it safely. They should help you do that at the hospital. And then they're going to basically have baby sit in the car seat and monitor them to make sure that they're able to hold their airway open and that there's no signs of distress or anything else. And that's really preventative. It's a SIDS prevention. It's to make sure that they are able to survive on their own outside of the hospital. When you take baby home, that might be to a shelter, that could be to your housing. They're going to want to know that you have safe sleep in place. So they want to know that baby has a crib or a bassinet. There are some CPS approved co-sleeper bassinets that go in the bed, which can be a great option for folks who want to co-sleep, but there needs to be something approved by CPS. They will not let you just co-sleep with your baby. They want to make sure that that's up. They are going to do a walkthrough before you're allowed to take baby home of wherever you are going to be staying. Most safety plans require you to have people on your safety plan that are going to check in with you, if not be with you 24/7 during the period of that initial safety plan. So they're going to have to be screened, they're going to have to be vetted, and that place of residence is going to have to be walked through to make sure that there is a safe place for baby to sleep. Depending on whether you are formula feeding or not, you're going to want to make sure that you have access to formula. So having somebody pick it up for you. Sometimes hospitals will send you home with like an initial small supply, or they'll give it to you when you're in the hospital to feed baby. So you might have some left over to take with you, but making sure that you have some coming home and know where to access it when you leave is super important. That should be part of the planning or the support that you're either working towards if you're coming into a labor situation, knowing that you are pregnant, and or if you have support people that are helping you plan and have everything you need to prepare for baby coming home. We also just need to have bottles, we need to have pumps. You can access a lot of these things through WIC, Women, Infant, and Children. So getting set up for that is super important. Diapers, they should provide you diapers. There's other options like Family Works. And we also just need to have some like baby clothes and baby swaddles. Knowing who your people are to come in and help is going to be super critical. And checking back in with those videos on comfort measures, on the 3 pillars of postpartum support, and thinking about, again, like, what do you need to kind of take it one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, in order to keep moving forward and keep knocking these little to-dos off, these little parts of your routine off, and celebrating those little milestones. Babies grow up fast. It may not seem like it at the time, but these times that are hard are going to pass. And so sometimes what we need is just to like remind ourselves that this is temporary and I'm doing the best I can. And that's all I can do. And if it feels unmanageable, who can I call to come support me? I love you all. Keep doing the best you can. I hope that this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon.